Hello everyone. So you have seen my top 10 favorite books of the year. Now you're going to see my least favorite books of the year. So I never like filming these videos because everyone has such varying different tastes of what they like as a reader and as a person in general. I could watch a movie and I hate it, but you might love it. I could read a book and I love it, but you hate it. You know, things like that. Everything really is subjective to a person's personal preference and taste and all that many things. So I never really like filming these videos because I'm like, I did not like this book, but I know someone out there is like, I love that book. Why are you bashing it? Everyone has different tastes. So that's my disclaimer for this video, is that I mentioned one of your favorite books ever. That's great. Keep on loving and adoring that book. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that you cannot love it. Everyone has such different tastes. And with that said, there's not a ton of books that I read this year that I would say I hated. I don't want to ever hate a book. There were some that I really disliked, but there's not a ton of them. So let's get into this. I'll try to dissect of why I didn't like them and all of those many things. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Three Sides of a Heart. This is a YA anthology all about love triangles, and I really was expecting to love this book because I really enjoy anthologies. I don't mind a good love triangle when it's actually up front of it being a love triangle. I think that's great. This one, however, I did not like at all. I felt like a lot of the stories were just kind of really poorly written. There wasn't a good love triangle thing. There wasn't a good love triangle scene. A lot of the love triangles I don't think really made sense. And just overall, I was very dissatisfied with this book. I thought it was a really poorly YA anthology. Like not one of the stories I can remember and tell you about. There was just none that were just super good in my opinion. So if you're a really big fan of anthologies, I would maybe skip out on this one. I just was really hoping to love it and just ended up didn't really liking it. Speaking of books I don't like, the reason for this whole video is Beautiful Broken Hearts by Kami Garcia. This is a YA contemporary book about a girl that I can't even remember what it's about a lot because I didn't like it that much. I think it was about an abusive relationship and she decides to move on, and I just felt like it was poorly written. I didn't feel like the characters make much sense. I didn't feel like the romance was very plausible. I did respect it for the fact of that it talked about abusive relationships and being strong about it and doing the right thing. I did like it for that, but overall it just wasn't good in my opinion. Like nothing stood out to me in that book at all. Like it was just, the romance was way overdone. Very, very quickly moved on fast from her previous ones. The main character was just she was kind of a jerk, honestly. She treated people not that great. She was kind of a mean girl. I just wasn't a fan of it. I have 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornig. This is a Christmas holiday book, and the reason why I did not like this book is the characters. The characters alone really drew me to despise this book, and that's because it's about this family that's kind of secluded in their house for 7 days, and each of them have very different things going on in their lives, but when they talk to the other people about the things going on in their lives, none of them sympathize or, you know, care about the other. It's all about, well, if this happens to me, if this happens to that person, how will it affect me? If this happens to that person, how will I be affected? They were very much selfish and self-centered and did not care about any other person other than themselves. And that's for every character in this book other than one. Now, I understand that there are some books where you are meant to dislike the characters, but the writing's good, and if the book makes sense to hate the characters, I'm on board with that. Take, for example, You by Carolyn Kepnes. I really enjoyed that book. Every character in that book is written for you to dislike. It's a book that will make you think like you're sympathizing with the bad guy in that book, and you're like, why am I sympathizing with the bad guy? Because every other character is just straight up horrible. That book I enjoyed, even though all the characters were horrible, but they were meant to be written horribly, if that makes any sense. 7 Days of Us, I just feel like these characters were just self-centered and just all about themselves, and I don't know if they were written to be that way or if just that's just how they were. I only have a couple of thrillers I didn't like. Number one, The Woman in the Window. This is a very polarizing thriller. A lot of people really loved it and a lot of people didn't like it. I did not like it. I did not like the way it was written. It was very confusing to me to read. I did not like the plot twist in it. I just didn't love that book as a whole. Like, I guess where one of the plot twists was, and I think a lot of us did, but the second plot twist was kind of very obscure and did not make much sense to me at all, and I just didn't love the way it was written. I think what comes down to this book was the way it was written. It got confusing because she was also, the main character was a fan of watching like old movies, and I got confused whether we were watching an old movie or we were actually like in the book. Like, it was very weird and jarring to me, so I did not like that at all. Another one is Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman. Another book where I dislike the main character. So that just goes to show you that characters are a really big driving force for me personally, to determine whether I like a book or not. If I do not like the main characters, there's probably a good chance I'm not gonna like the book. These characters were just stupid, honestly. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to glaze over it, but I don't want to be super harsh, but I guess I'm just gonna go for it. They just made horrible decisions after decision, were just horrible ones. Decisions that I found myself being like, why would anyone make this decision and go with it? Why? It just baffles me. That was my main problem with that book. What I want to talk about is The Hazel by Melissa Albert. I wouldn't say like it's my least favorite. I just didn't love it. I feel like this book was marketed as one thing, and I don't think it was. It was supposed to be very creepy and lyrical and I don't know, fantastical. And I do feel like it was lyrically written. I will say that. Like, I think a lot of people's favorite element in this book is like the short story world that this book is based upon, if that makes any sense. And we all like that much more than the actual like plot line. The characters again in this book were just horrible, self-centered. I guess that's just my main driving force in this whole video. It's horrible characters. I did not expect that, but I just thought this book, like, the beginning part was strong. It was good. I liked the way we kind of weaved into this world, and then the last and then the middle part got really dicey, like confusing wise. I'm like, where are we going with this plot? And the end just kind of exploded. Like, I just was like, we just took 50 different turns and I still don't know where we are. This book was just confusing overall. I don't know if I would continue on with this series. I just didn't love it overall. So those are all the books that I want to mention to you guys that I just really did not enjoy. And sorry if I didn't go into detail about all of them, because it's hard to like really, you know, I don't like to bash books in general because that's just not who I am. I'm going to be realistic, but kind of be optimistic realistic. I did not really love any of these books that I talked about today, mainly for the fact of the characters. That's a big force for me. That was a big driving force for me, apparently, in 2018, was characters and character development. So, yeah, if you have any of your least favorite books that you read this year, please leave them down in the comments. It could even be one of my favorite books of the year. That is okay. We all have different opinions, and that is what makes this world go round. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if you did not. I'm sure I'll get thumbs down, because who likes talking about least favorite books? I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.